right, guys, welcome back to the Truth Be Told podcast. My name is Brandy. I am a registered dental hygienist with a local anesthesia permit, and I've been practicing in the dental field for the last 20 years. If this is your first time joining the podcast, our podcast is focused on providing the underserved and underprivileged communities, particularly communities of color, with the information, tools, resources to improve their dental healthcare experience. So, guys, we have Miss Tremaine back again because we
Hey
had
y'all.
so many questions about insurance breakdowns. So she was with us a couple months ago, and you guys can go back and check that video out. But today, Tremaine, what are we doing? Because we're going to kind of expound on, what we were talking about last episode. What was
Okay, so today we are going to be talking about the four different types of dental plans that are offered, or like where you acquire them from. So, like, how where you getting these dental insurances, and then
Mhm.
kind of what are the little behind the scene things that you may not know to ask, but
Okay.
these are things that are important to know when trying to find a dental provider and dental insurance.
Okay. All right. That's what's up. That makes sense. So, first things first, what are because you told me there were four main types of dental insurance. And can you break down, what the acronyms are before you get into, so the four types and the four acronyms, what they mean?
Yes. So first, starting off, there is the HMO plan or DHMO, which would
Mhm.
be the Dental Health Maintenance Organization. That is what HMO stands for. Then you have your PPO plans, which are the preferred provider organizations.
Right.
And then there's the EPO, which is the exclusive provider organization. And then there's the POS services, which is point of service dental services.
Okay. All
So
right.
those are the four different classifications of dental insurances.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So, within those four, which ones do you think are the most popular that you see most patients coming in with these types of
Yes.
insurances? Which
So
one?
most patients come to the dental office and they have their insurances through their employers. So the
Mhm.
most common ones that we see are PPOs and
Mhm.
HMOs.
Okay.
So those are the two. And sometimes I'm going to throw the POS in there.
Mhm.
Sometimes the POS is provided through your employer as well. But those are the main two that you see, the most popular, the most common that you hear when you call. They say, "Is it a PPO or HMO?" When you're
Okay.
making your selections, that's kind of the two options that they give. That is the most popular categories of the insurance.
Okay. So the other two that you mentioned, are those for the most part not offered through employers, or how are we getting those other two?
Yes. So the EPO is the exclusive provider organization, and the
Mhm.
POS. The POS, you'll kind of do it, you'll see that one more if you're doing like an individual plan. So you're just seeking straight through a certain insurance company for their individual plans. They're normally POS. The EPO is fairly new. I've just started seeing this in the past year or so. The
Okay.
EPO is becoming more common because that one is being purchased through the marketplace. So for people who may not qualify for Medicaid and state insurances, and they're part time, or their job doesn't offer dental benefits. There is, and I'm not 100% sure, and I meant to get that information, but I believe it's like NJ covers me, or
Okay.
the marketplace is what everybody refers it to. So
Okay.
the NJ marketplace, they have a lot of EPO, which are, and then we'll go into which what they all cover, but that's where you'll get the EPO is
Okay.
through the marketplace.
Okay. Now, before we get into that, I have another question. If somebody walks in with a card, have you ever seen any dental information where they have an open access plan, or is that specific to medical coverage? Have you ever seen that
Yes.
before? Okay.
Yes. So I do see the open access plans. Through like Cigna is where I see it most common, and that is something also when you're which is like a POS, like they're going straight to the websites and looking through the individual plans that they offer. So the open access, that one, that one gets tricky because it's not quite a HMO, but it's not quite a PPO either. So
So
it
like
kind
in
of
the
has
middle.
like a weird little category of its own. So I would say if I had to pick the open access and where it would kind of fall, that's almost like an EPO because it's like an in-network only. It has, the provider has to be in-network with a plan specific. So
Hmm.
that one is similar to like an EPO, the open access plans.
All right. So which one you wanna break down first? Whatever you feel
Yep. So
best.
let's talk one that everybody knows and believes they have, which is, oh, it's a PPO.
Hmm.
A PPO is going to be, it offers you in out of network benefits.
Hmm.
Um, and with your PPO, there is no difference. So if I'm covered at 100% for preventative, 80% for basic, and then 50% for the major services, in and out of network, that's going to
Hmm.
be the same. That's
Okay.
just what I'm covered with. You're not limited to like specific providers. It's a wider, a broader selection, more
Hmm.
options. Like if I go to your job and I don't like it, then I'm like, well, I'll just go see another doctor, and then I go
Hmm.
somewhere else until I find the provider for me.
Okay.
The PPO is normally covered at, it has a maximum. It's covered at percentages. So you will have, just say $1,500 max. It will be covered 100% for your basic, I mean, for your preventative and diagnostics,
Hmm.
80% for your basic, 50% for your major services.
Okay.
The insurance will not pay more than $1,500, even if it's covered at 80%. So if
Hmm.
they tell you that you have $4,000 worth of co-payments or patient responsibility, they're not going to pay 80% of the 4,000. They're going to
Okay.
pay $1,500 in this calendar year, and that's all. So
Okay.
nothing more. They not. It doesn't just. It's not unlimited. 80%, no matter how big my bill is only
Right.
up to whatever that
The
maximum is.
maximum is.
Yep.
Okay.
So that
So
is.
I'm sorry, Tremaine, before you go further, don't lose your thought. But
Mhm.
something you said made me think somebody might have a question. So just in case any of you guys are trying to understand what preventative, diagnostic, basic, or major services are, preventative services are things you're going to do to maintain. So like your checkups, your cleanings, those types of things. And diagnostic are your x-rays. Basic services would be like fillings, Tremaine, any of those kind of restoratives. Major would
Mhm.
be like maybe bridges, crowns, root
Yeah, like
canal,
prosthetics, like things that come in and out. Your
dentures.
dentures,
Okay.
implants, those would be major services. Sometimes your oral surgery falls under major services.
Right.
And I was actually, that was funny because I have it to kind of ask you for like some basic procedures or restorative procedures from a
Yes.
clinician side, because
Yes.
I'm kind of learning to kind of stay in my role that I'm not a clinician. I'm
But
not a
listen, you
clinician.
have to know these things
Yeah, but
though.
I
You know what
have
I'm
to.
saying?
Yeah, I have to know.
Because
So
you have to be able to articulate it to the patient.
yes.
So just like Tremaine said, a lot of times the insurances will, they'll make up their rules as to what they feel is major. So you might have a crown that may be a major service or it might be a basic service. So those are
Hmm.
things that you should be able to ask your insurance company when you call. But I
Yes.
just wanted to get that out of the way first, just before you went on.
Because we're going to talk about the Dental Health Maintenance Organization, or the DHMO. That one is going to be a specific provider. So those, you need assignment to a provider. So it limits you to where you can go. It's always best to start with the insurance company, like if you have an idea of where you want to go go for your dental services, it's always good to call them to say, hey, do you accept HMOs? And if it's no, or you're switching, I love my dentist and I don't want to leave my dentist, then you should know when it's time for open enrollment what insurances your favorite doctor takes, so that when you do have to make that selection, you're not having to uproot your whole family, when you're making the selections. The HMO is going to limit you to just that one provider. That's it. So there's a lower out-of-pocket cost for patients, so their co-payments are normally lower. It's managed.
Right.
It is not on a percentage scale. It's just kind of, hey, this is what our patients pay. They're paying us, and that is how much they're allowed to pay, basically. Tell you, unfortunately, there are a lot of doctors who are listed as HMO providers, but most of the time in the office, they'll just say, like, we don't accept it, or we're not taking new patients, because it's not a lot of it's not a lot of production to the office. It takes up scheduling spaces for people with PPOs that are paying percentages and higher rates. So somebody's crown for a PPO may be $800, but with an HMO, your crown is only $200. They want the PPO in the office. They're not getting, because normally, I'll tell you, and I failed to say this, and this is a great example, because with a PPO, there's an insurance contribution and a patient contribution. So they say it's $700 is the contract that we're in. We agree that $700 is fair, and we're going to pay 80% of that, and the patient is going to pay the other 20%.
Right.
You're still going to get your $700. We're going to give you some, and they're going to give you some. Correct. With the HMO, most times there's no insurance contribution. So it's not a percentage of anything. It's just a contracted rate.
Right.
This is how much it is. You guys are in contract with us, so you have to be okay with taking $200, and that's it. We're not giving you anything else. It's just $200, and that's what we're in contract with.
Right.
So dentists, you want to be a network with as many, but once they start to get those patients in, and they see how non-productive it can become, then and because they're limited providers, you get swarmed with them once they find a provider.
Right.
It's like, oh, I found a place over here. That's why whenever you're calling, it's like, oh, we're not taking new patients. We're not taking new patients, because there's so many. It's the cheaper option when you're purchasing your insurance.
Right.
It's the one that's going to be most affordable to patient.
Right.
But it has its downside. So yes, it's more affordable to you, as in terms of your out-of-pocket costs, but it also limits you in a way that it may be hard for you to keep up with your preventative services, and being able to get in every 6 months like recommended, and being able to be seen regularly, that you're limited sometimes with the HMO.
Okay, so this HMO, would this be AKA a capitation plan? Are these one and the same?
Yes.
Or what? Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So that they are one and the same. The capitation, it's a cap. Like, it's a roster. Your name is on the list. You're assigned to this office. If you're not on this list, you can't be seen here. It's almost like an exclusive club with very limited kind of benefits. But that is just the downside of having an HMO. You're very limited to where you can be seen, and within that office, how often you can be seen.
We're going to have a second episode. We'll do a part.
That's why I said I might have to come back.
Okay, we're going to do, and we're going to do a part 2, so we can hit up the EPO and
the POS.
the POS. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, please, please, please email me at truthbetoldpodcast@gmail.com. And what I don't know, I sure enough will be getting in touch with Tremaine because it's
And guess what?
plenty
What
I
I
don't know.
don't know, I sure enough is gonna get in contact with my insurance guru. So, we all got a little team behind us. We all got a little
Listen,
team behind us.
you gotta have a team. You gotta have a team.
Yes.
So yes, we will have Tremaine back because she stayed with the insurance information, and you guys need this, and you need to know. And we're gonna be coming with some more things that'll be helpful for you guys. Tremaine, you'll be back with me, right? Ain't no
Yes,
issues
it's
with
always
that.
a pleasure, B. You know
All
that,
right,
girl. We can
you
do
guys
this
take
all
care.
day. Bye, y'all.
Bye.